You can start.
Great. So again, thank you for coming. And this is the first group meet that we have. The group's been up for only about 3 weeks or something, and to already have 35 members within 3 weeks is great. And personally, we would have liked if more people had come in, but then there are people who are catching flights, there are people who have other engagements, Instagram lives, and stuff like that. So it's very difficult logistically to bring everybody together. So a lot of people sort of said they'll come and then they dropped out because of personal reasons. So I'm sure the next time we have such a meeting, there'll be more people. But for now, thank you for coming. And so basically, why we planned this entire thing is to get to know each other better, because we are all part of the TCC group, but then we have all joined at different points of time, and we don't really know each other that well or know the kind of work that we have done, right? So both Chitra and I felt that we should take some time out. We should have one meeting to start with where we bring everybody together, and we have not only an interactive session where people get to know each other, but do something fun, a rapid fire round, and then an elevator pitch for your book, right? Because we're going to put it on YouTube, and why not promote yourself when you have the chance to? you know we all are writers and we all need promotion. So that's it, let's start. And I also want to mention that we are joined in by two guys, as you can see, Kaustav and Pushan. They're both writers, and they're both part of our main TCC team. Kaustav is part of the marketing team, and Pushan is part of the editorial team. So Pushan is already working on one project. He just completed one project and he's working on the second. And Kaustav is part of the marketing team, which is of course headed by Chitra. So again, I would like to welcome both of you. Uh, they're really talented, and I'm really glad that they're working with TCC, for the platform. And thank you guys for joining in today.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining in. And yeah, so our first activity for today is the elevator pitch. So, what this means is that first I'll introduce you, and then within a minute or two, you introduce whatever work you're doing, whether it be about a book or something that you have written, a piece that you want people to know about. So, you're going to talk about it as if you entered an elevator and you're trying to convince a stranger about your work. So you're explaining the concept to that stranger, and you're hoping that when he gets out of that elevator, he's going to go and read your work or go and check your name out or something. So that is what elevator pitch is all about. So it's all about making it interesting. There should be a call to action at the end. You should start with like the concept and why they should pick your work, and at the end you should give a call to action what they should do next. So I think that is something that it's going to be really fun, because within a short span of time, you'll have to introduce your work quickly. So how are you going to do it, and how you're going to present your work in an interesting style?
And
So
if you want, you can just imagine the elevator lunging down, losing all control.
no, of
And
course not. No, we are not going to imagine Chandrayan's morbid analogy here.
it wasn't quite morbid, he sort of said,
Yeah, he
we
sort of
can reach
saved
the
us
floor
at the
safely.
end. Yeah.
So all's well that ends well.
So, who wants to go first then?
I
Niladri, do
think
you want to go first?
I think you should go first.
Oh my God, I'm really nervous. I am not, into this. I
Okay,
think
I'll
you
go
should go
first.
first. Yeah, you
I'll
go
go first.
first,
Okay.
because my hands are really cold now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So okay, my book is called Letters of Nine, and it's a psychological thriller that deals with a serial killer sending 9 letters to a writer, detailing the 9 murders that she has done, and asking him to write a book. But as the letters keep on coming, what the writer realizes is that the serial killer might be known to him. So he lives with his girlfriend, Trisha, and both his and Trisha's life are at stake, because it's a serial killer who's contacting them. And the way she writes letters, he sort of realizes that she might be after the writer. But then what also the writer sort of sees, as the letters start coming, that he's kinds of start seeing illusions or visions of the victims of the serial killer, and he loses his mind, and things start happening, and then Trisha starts to behave strangely, and stuff like that happens. So it's gripping, it's very psychological, and I wanted to sort of tell the story from the serial killer's point of view, because mostly what stories you see about serial killings and stuff like that, they're mostly told from the point of view of investigating officer or somebody who's pursuing the killer. They're hardly from the serial killer's point of view. The serial killer is always a very shadowy figure. So that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to have a dual narrative, a narrative that goes oscillates between the writer and the serial killer. And so it's out on Amazon, and if you want to check it out, please read the book. It's on Kindle Unlimited as well, so if you have Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can read for free. And if you do, please read a review. you know Thank you very much.
That was awesome. Okay, now I'm inspired to try a little. Okay, so here I go. So, hey everyone. My debut novel, Linger When You're Gone, was released in March. So, if you're looking for a read, to spice up your weekend with a dash of mystery, a spoonful of romance, and a heady mix of chills and thrills, this is definitely the book for you. So it's all about a searing, passionate romance that remained unfulfilled, a murder mystery that looks impossible to solve, and the tantalizing aroma of danger all around. So a woman with a heightened sense of smell detects the scent of her ex-lover right after the mysterious death of her best friend and finds herself descending into cold nightmares. So is this insanity or a sinister presence? Linger When You're Gone is guaranteed to quicken your pulse and set it racing. It's been a bestseller and it's free on Kindle Unlimited. So please get your copy and don't forget to leave a review if you've enjoyed reading it. It's also a finalist in the Amazon Spend to Publish contest. And this has always been possible by the support of the literary community. So if you want to check out my book, please download it from Amazon. And I'm sure you will enjoy reading it.
Great. I mean, now I feel that my pitch was so bad. Okay.
Every pitch is different. It appeals to different kinds of audiences.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Please put your hands up.
You have reactions here, in the panel, so you can raise your hand if
Shalini.
you. Okay.
Shalini, great. Please go
I
ahead.
did
First,
not
I will
want to.
introduce Shalini. Okay, but she hasn't given her introduction in my Google form. I can't find
Okay,
her
so
introduction.
Shalini, please
Shalini will.
introduce yourself first,
Yes,
and then
yes.
uh, let's hear your pitch.
Okay, so I like Niladri and Chitra already told my name. I'm Shalini, and I am a full-time consultant. And writing has been my passion since I was a teenager. So I have been writing fictions from I think past 5 years, and very recently, 2 months ago, I published my first novel on Amazon. So that's about me, and I can get with the
Yeah.
elevator pitch. So, okay. So I'll imagine, Chitra, you are there in the elevator with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what kind of story thrills you? What kind of story pushes you to the edge of your seat? Now, if you're looking for something like this, If I Hadn't Met You is the perfect pick for you. As you start reading the story, you will not be able to put it down. So, on her 18th birthday, Tisha encounters the spirit of an old woman who has awakened from a slumber of 18 years. The spirit is naturally not thrilled to see that the world around her has evolved, and she is even more shocked to see that her wedding chain has been missing all this while. So, what happens? Tisha is emotionally blackmailed by the spirit into conceding to find the lost chain that was lost 18 years ago. But this simple search leads Tisha into a journey of unleashing the truth and finding the love of her life in Rudra. So every page that you will read in this book will force you to move to the next. Every event that happens will make your mind wander into unknown territories. So, in the exact words of a reviewer, the narration is clear and crisp, the book is fast paced, and the best thing is that it refrains from unnecessary details. So, with a pinch of horror, romance, mystery, and humor, this could be your perfect immersive read for the weekend. And this book has been a bestseller on Amazon. It is still a bestseller in horror and psychology categories. So if you want to experience this thrilling journey with Rudra and Tisha, you must grab a copy on Amazon. It's available on Kindle Unlimited as well. So that's about
Great. I mean, I'm
Great.
sold.
That was a pitch. That was a pitch.
I'm personally sold.
it. You have to read it, Niladri.
I will. I will.
Okay,
Okay,
then.
so
Thank you, Shalini, for this amazing pitch. And I think next we should go with Neeraj because he has bad weather at his end. So, Neeraj, get ready with a pitch. Okay, so Neeraj SK has studied law from University of Pune and has been a former freelance writer, editor, reporter at Lokmat Times NIE, and he's presently editorial advisor at Springer Nature Technology and Publishing. He's a NaNoWriMo 20 winner, and and he has written amazing stories. One of which was recently published in an anthology, Chandrayaan, and this anthology is literally going to the moon. So it's being, my story was also in that anthology, and that anthology is being carried by a lunar lander to the moon. So it's going to be part of future moon literature. So Neeraj, please unmute yourself and proceed with the elevator pitch.
All right. Imagine yourself on the moon, far away from your family, from your loved ones, from people that you go out to seek various emotions, hope, peace, confidence. And right now, because you're on the moon, you cannot really get in touch with any of them. And the only solace that you can find is in the literature that some idiots threw up there a few years ago, before, in the anticipation that you might reach there. With this thing in mind, I wrote a story about a very little innocent little child who will inspire you, who will imbibe you with strength, with hope, with motivation in extremely tough times, because ultimately innocence and the strength that comes out of innocence is the greatest motivation that I have ever felt, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. And along with this story, you have a lot of different stories that will also give you the experience of the multitude of emotions that human beings are expected to feel when they are in isolation. And when I say isolation, you guys don't really have to wait to go to the moon to read these stories, because this book is also on Amazon and it's available for free for Kindle Unlimited readers. And it's also available to buy for other people. And the great thing about it is that the proceeds that come out of this book are going to be donated to NaNoWriMo, and by reading it, you will be supporting other writers as well. So it's a win-win situation. Go out there, buy it on Amazon, read it, and have motivation and other emotions go rushing through your heart and bones and mind.
awesome.
Awesome,
That
Neeraj.
was that was a quintessential salesman pitch. I would know. I come from a sales background. I used to work in IT in the sales. So I would know. There was a quintessential sales pitch. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Neeraj, for this amazing pitch. Okay. So next, who wants to go?
How about
Raise
how
your
about
hands.
how about
Urvashi ma'am.
Urvashi ma'am?
Okay. I'll introduce her first. Urvashi Tandon is a professor of anesthesiology who took premature retirement after serving in the Indian Navy for 29 years. She has written articles for various magazines, including Travelogues, which also got featured on CNBC TV 18. She has also published in Dainik Bhaskar and is one of the winners of a short story writing contest held nationwide for women writers by Ishi magazine, and the result of which culminated in an anthology titled Everything Changed After That. And she has also co-authored several other anthologies. She has written a book for children to increase environmental awareness in the form of a collection of short stories titled Potpourri Stories for Children. Urvashi ma'am, the stage is yours. I'm going to spotlight you right now.
Yeah, hi. So I wrote this book. This was my first book, of course. My second one's doing the round, and I'm on my third. But this got published, which to my delight, on Children's Day in 2019. So I thought that was very befitting because I'm a pediatric anesthetist by training. So I have a natural inclination for children, and I feel children's literature is kind of neglected. So that's how this book came about, and I wanted to do something for the environment, and I had put this together. There are 10 short stories which are full of illustrations, and it's a full color book. And this is aiming at children from 5 to 10, so that they could be read as bedtime stories as well. And they obviously like pictures. I mean, that's what we grew up with, and I can't
Yeah,
think of a children's book without illustrations.
true.
So they basically deal with things like you may have a pet or you have a bird, and why should it be caged? Because they have wings to fly. So a story, woven around that. Stories of socioeconomic divide, stories where cruelty to animals are brought out in a way where maybe they would be more sympathetic next, to pelting stones at strays and stuff like that. And being a doctor, there's some health related also. So they do not end with a moral at the end of the story. Like when we grew up, we used to have moral of the story is, etc., etc. No child likes to be told anything. So the moral is interwoven in the stories. And I was very happy when during the International Book Fest in Pragati Maidan in Delhi, in the Notion Press stores, my book was the max selling. So I was quite thrilled about that. And yeah, so it's a complete color book, and I designed the cover myself, so I was very happy if I can show it to you.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was quite happy with that. And if you set up something interesting for your children and you want to see, because society is the future of our society is the kids of today. So it's only
Yeah.
they who are malleable, impressionable, and if we can show them a right direction, I think we should be doing great. So if you want to bring up your children well, I would suggest pick up this book and read. That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome, Urvashi ma'am. Thank you so much.
I surely would keep your book on my TBR when I have children. I think I'm just a bit slightly older right now, so I won't be. It's not for my age group. I'm slightly older, but I'll keep it for when I
I'm
have my children.
I like how you're saying I'm slightly older.
Okay, great. And Urvashi ma'am, please post a cover of your book in the group. I mean, if you,
okay, definitely. Most
yeah,
certainly.
yeah, I loved your cover. It'd be great if you could just post a cover for all of us.
Such a delight because I actually drew it out myself. They just made it neater.
Yeah. And please do
Great.
mention that as well, that you've designed it yourself.
Illustrated it, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, and we'll post it on our social handles.
Yeah. Okay, so who wants to go next? Yeah, Yukta. Okay. I'll read out her introduction first. Okay, Yukta Asrani is a free-spirited, easygoing soul. She loves reading and writing slow burn, exciting, plot twist romances. A hopeless romantic, she's crazy about the characters she writes while she pens down her dreams. Her heroes are swoon worthy, and she breathes life into her characters with a relatable approach. When she's not reading or writing, she's out with her family and friends creating memories. She writes from a home in Bangalore where she lives with her husband and son. She can't imagine her life without her laptop and Kindle. Author of Handcuffed to Love, a contemporary romance novel, her journey as a writer has just begun. Nice introduction, Yukta. I'm going to spotlight you now, and the stage is yours.
Yeah, hey everyone, this is Yukta here. So I am an indie author. I just published my first novel, and it's titled Handcuffed to Love. And this is a contemporary romance fiction. So I have always been very passionate about reading, and so I just tried my hand at writing, and I was fortunate that I got quite a few positive reviews. And this story is basically based out of New York. It's about this Indian girl who goes, to New York to pursue her career in journalism. And there, as fate has it, she lands up into a mess and is, she's not a damsel in distress, but, she meets NYPD cop there. And the story is, revolves around these two characters. And since, there is a difference in culture, she's an Indian and he's an American. So there's a lot of conflict and a lot of drama based around, the two families and everything. So if you're into fun, breezy and swoon-worthy romances, do give it a try. So I'm on the verge of publishing my second book, which is a kind of a sequel to this. So
Okay.
yeah, it's on Kindle and Amazon.
Great.
Great. I
Awesome.
didn't know it's a sequel to this.
No, it's a standalone book, but it's based on the siblings, on the other siblings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice pitch. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
hope your second book does great, and people read both of them together.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much, Yukta.
Thanks, Chitra.
Okay, so Chandrayan, do you want to go next?
Okay, I will read out his introduction first. I remember something from his introduction, which I'm not sure whether I should read out or not. Okay, so Chandrayaan Gupta is a triple X psychological crime thriller author. He's a top writer and he has 135 plus articles on Medium. He's a law student and a goofball who loves to call himself that he's 100% idiot. So this was what I didn't want to read out, but then the most intelligent people, they sort of consider themselves, we are class apart, we are idiots. So, okay, Chandrayan, I'm going to spotlight you now and the stage is yours. So go ahead with your pitch.
Right. I have no idea what to say. The worst thing you can say about a book is that it's unnecessary. I don't want to write things that are available on the market already. So I have 3 books. One, my hands are shaking. So 1, 2, and 3. Minimalistically designed, like my own personality. So the 2 things we don't have, my books are detective thrillers, basically. So the 2 things we don't have much in the detective thriller genre is a woman, the lead detective being a woman, because I just don't recall ever reading something like that. And 2, we don't have enough representation for mental illness, not mental health, mental illness. So I'm this won't come as a surprise to any of you. I have a clinical depression, have had it for 7-8 years. So I wrote my first book when I was 19. So at that point, I introduced a character based on me, Aditya Gokhale, someone to vent through. And I created an imaginary character, Radha Bose, who is, well, the whole entire package without all the sexual objectification things, because those are not necessary. So she's a strong-headed, strong-willed, capable, smart, resourceful detective and a war veteran. Not a war veteran, a former soldier. So Aditya and Radha start working together to solve crimes, which I thought were intriguing crimes. And at the same time, they help each other through their own mental illnesses, because Radha has PTSD, which she got due to an event in the army. So my 3 books are about Radha Bose and Aditya Gokhale helping each other, forming a human bond, a real bond, no superhero tactics, no larger than life characters, just 2 real grounded human beings investigating crimes and tackling life together. And I hate hearing my own voice, so I'm going to put myself on mute now. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's there's
Chandrayan, that
there's one
was,
thing. There's one thing that I would like to add for Chandrayan's books, that I have read both 2 books. I've not read the third one. I've downloaded it, but I'm sorry I haven't been able to read it as of yet. But I read the first book, and I remember when I read the first book, Birth of a Duo, right, Chandran? That was the first one. I messaged him, I reached out to him and told him, brother, your first book is way better than what I had written as my first book. Even though I know he's not happy with his first book, and we were having a conversation the other day where he said he wants to rewrite it and stuff like that. But if I want to compare with what I had written for my first book, his book was much better. And then when I read the second book, I sort of understood that this writer, this guy has evolved, because the shortcomings that were there in the first book, he plugged it. The story of the second book was much more complex. It had more layers to it. And as it got to the pre-climax and the climax, there were parts of it which were tough to read. Me being, I read a lot of gore and morbid stuff, and still at one point of time I had to leave the book, go get up, make a cup of tea, and come back. Because I was sort of reading it in one night. I sat in the evening, I finished it by I think
So
3 or
basically, it
3:30 in
was
the
too
morning.
hot to handle.
It had an impact. It had an impact. And the way he sort of plugged all the holes, and he just sort of brought everything together, it was sort of amazing. I mean,
Nice.
uh,
Niladri is far, 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 far too kind. So
I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. If I don't like a book, I'll trash it.
Yeah,
Okay,
he is
Chitra
pretty
knows that.
critical. He edited my book, and I wish I had to go through a lot of comments. And I mean, we are good friends and everything, but then when he starts criticizing,
Yeah, I don't hold back, because I just feel that is, if I can give an honest opinion to a writer, and unbiased and honest opinion, they might benefit from it rather than me sugarcoating
Definitely.
my point of view.
there were times when I felt that I had to be an ostrich who buries the head in the sand. I wished I could disappear with the kind of comments I was getting. So yeah, he
But
doesn't
for
hold back.
Chandrayan's second, I'm gonna read his third book. I think next month I'm gonna read for sure. But uh, for the second book, I loved it so much, and I actually also did a piece on that in my blog. So
thank you.
with
Thanks
all
for
your humility and all your modesty, Chandrayan, you're a awesome writer. Keep this up. Awesome.
And not only that, with this pitch, he also proved that has got awesome speaking skills, because that was heartfelt, that was
Yeah.
intense, and people who really like thrillers, they would listen to your pitch, and they would be like, I want to read this book. What is this guy going on about? And I don't know why you don't like the sound of your voice, but I think it
Yeah,
he has got a really nice voice.
yeah, really soothing and
thank
calm.
you.
Soothing.
Yeah, great.
Okay, stop now. I'm going to blush. I
Please
don't
do.
like blushing.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, we got 3 elevator pitches, Chandrayan.
Okay, so Chetan, would you like to go next?
Yes,
Chetan,
yes.
I don't have your intro
So,
with me right now, so could you please introduce yourself first, and then you go ahead. I'm going to spotlight you.
Just 1 minute, Chetan. Before
yes,
you start, Chetan, just 1 minute. Chitra, Indrajit is waiting in the waiting room. You just said in the
Okay.
Telegram group, so just
Okay, okay,
admit
right.
him.
Okay, okay, right.
Sorry, Chetan. Just 1 moment. Okay?
no,
Is Indrajit here? Just
Hi, I've joined. Am I audible?
yes, you're audible. Thank you so much, Indrajit, for joining in. And I am so sorry that I didn't see, because we were having this presentation and everything.
No issues. Actually, I was having my exam, so I joined with. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, right. So will you be giving your elevator pitch today?
I'm still wondering what it is actually. Anyone
Okay,
can
So
okay,
help
we'll
very
me?
come to you.
quickly,
Indrajit, Chetan is just about to give his elevator pitch, so you can just listen to it and have an idea.
Sure, sure.
And
Okay.
then
so
Chitra will
first, what we
explain
are
it to
doing
you.
is we are introducing the speaker, and then they're proceeding with a short, description of what their work or their book is about. So, just quickly, as if you're in an elevator and you meet a stranger, and you're just trying to explain the concept of your book in a very interesting manner, and you should also tell about where they can find your work, and just like that. So, I think you'll get an idea when Chetan and Jackson finish. And yeah, I'll
Okay.
just spotlight Chetan for now. He'll be introducing himself. I don't think I have his introduction, but yeah. So Chetan, please go ahead.
fine, and thank you. Hello, guys. I am Chetan Maheshwari, and I've just released my debut novel, Lifeline: Will They Ever Succeed? Few months back. And apart from being an author, I am a blogger at Your Life Mirror since long, long time. and I've been blogging about my past experiences and other motivational stuff. Apart from this, professionally, I am a mechanical engineer and a project management professional. So that's a quick intro about me. Now, coming about my book, I think let me tell you in simple words, it's your story. It's a story that I think anybody can relate to, because it's a story for all the professionals, because it deals with certain topics that are prevalent in today's society, like professionals do face challenges with office politics, who work in the working environment. And it also is a story about people who want to create their own startup, and what challenges they face to create a successful startup, and what kind of startup that today society needs. That how since people are so much engaged digitally, they need validation for every kind of activity that they do. So what kind of startups actually it can be helpful for people. And another aspect to this story is that it also shows a mirror to the society, that how society treats single mothers. So all of these things are sewed in a fictional story and wrapped up in with this cute love story of two main characters. So this is all about my book, and it's known as Lifeline: Will They Ever Succeed? And it's free on Kindle Unlimited. And I hope if you read it, do drop a review. I think you know how it means to the author.
Definitely. Thank you
So
very
that's
much,
about
Chetan.
Definitely.
it.
Thank you so much, Chetan.
And it's also a very interesting concept, and it's very different, and it's very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing pitch, and I think people will definitely find it relatable and will pick up your book. Okay, I
Right.
think let's go with Jackson. Jackson, you ready? I'll just
Yes.
introduce you. Okay. So Jackson Chang is an MA student enrolled in the English program at the National Central University in Taiwan. He's interested in children's literature, poetry, and translation. Jackson has been writing poetry since 2018 and admires the work of Rabindranath Tagore, famous for his poems and songs, and for being the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in 1930. Furthermore, he admires the work of Hafiz Shirazi and Pablo Neruda, known for their ghazals and sonnets.
Yes.
Then, Jackson, you are in the spotlight now. Go ahead and pick.
Yes. Okay, so here we have, now I have 6 books that I published on Amazon platforms, and each book I focus on different, I would say each book I focus on the similar things, nature, and because I am a nature lover, so I enjoy to going outside to observe different kinds of plants, trees, flowers, or even some insects that I enjoy them. And also currently I try to write two books about one is named the praise of soul, and the other one is the praise of the blue sky. And this book is trying to remind me to think of the climate change, and also we also consider about the biggest wish that I want to my country can receive, the raining and the blue sky, because long time our country lack of water resources, and sometimes people are arguing about this. I mean, local government and the central government are fighting with fighting with each other because of lacking of the water resources. And then luckily during these days, I mean the raining is still continue raining in my country. So try to release different kinds of the ideas. And also I try to compile a book with my secondary students. The book is named The Prayer of the Blue Sky. And I wish my students could become better in the future. And they are just like the sunrise who which will be rising to the central and shining with the brightest star, shining like the brightest stars. So I wish that I could help my students to combine these books. So, and also I took a class at my NCU campus. It is about reading short stories, and we also compile another books named The Invisible Brainstorming and Behind the Electronic Devices. This book consists of the 30 articles, for example, analytic articles and narrative articles and creative articles. And 5 of students try to consist of these books because this book is a bit huge.
Jackson, do you have your books with you right now? I mean, do you have any books that you can show us?
Yes, The Voice of Land.
Okay, The Voice of Land.
And The Flower of Silence. And The Maple of Love.
Nice. Those are lovely covers.
Yes, and The Love of Maple. And also The Song of the Countryside.
Wow.
And here is The Sound of My Hometown. And the final one is The Light of Ireland.
You can have a bookstore on your own.
Yeah.
Yes, all of them are. I will say for the Sound of My Hometown and The Love of Maple, because of the lockdown in India, now currently they are not published on Amazon platform. Okay. But
so which are the 2 books that are available on Amazon? I think Flower of Silence is there, right? Flower of Silence or...
Yeah, Flower of Silence are on the platforms, and some of the people will enjoy reading it. And last time I shared this file to the group. And if you
have shared all the PDFs there, and I request everyone to just check out Jackson's books. And I think 2 or 3 of them are on Amazon right now. So I don't think they're on Kindle Unlimited, but they're priced at a reasonable rate. So we can just buy Jackson's books, and even those PDFs that he has given. If anyone wants to share feedback with Jackson, they can do.
Thank
you so much, Jackson, for your pitch, and showing us those lovely books. Those covers were really
they're awesome. Real cool. Okay, so we can go to Harish. Harish has not turned on his video. So
Harish, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. There's a problem in my video.
Okay, there's a problem with the video. I think when he came to the meeting also,
Yes, the problem is there.
Okay, not a problem, Harish. You can just give your pitch.
Yeah,
on
you can
audio.
Introduce yourself first, because I don't have your introduction as well. So just introduce yourself and then give a pitch about your work, what you're planning to do or you have published.
Yeah. Hi everyone, Harish. I'm an entrepreneur taking care of a fuel station in my hometown. I'm a blogger who writes positive blogs, motivational blogs. I have published my recent book was called What is Justice? And the book is about a crime thriller talking about serial crimes happening in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Delhi, followed by a villain who affected the life of 3 police officers. And then what happened was that a group of people who are teetotalers joined with a group of people who call themselves Robin Hood, who are similar to the Batman League of Assassins, and they attacked few bars and pubs in Mumbai. And what happens and why did they attack, and did the people solve the problems of the serial killing is the story.
Wow, Harish. I mean, that's superhero and then serial killings and so many elements together.
It's a Marvel movie in the making.
Yes, a Marvel movie in the making. Yeah.
Marvel movie.
You're gonna soon have a shared universe for yourself.
You can find my book in Amazon and Flipkart.
Okay.
Okay, you already have do you already have a book out on Amazon and Flipkart?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Please share the link in the group we would also
sure.
like to check it out. And I think you're working on your next book as well.
And
Yes, I'm working on a superhero book.
Superhero book. Okay. Wow.
you've got an admirer here, brother. I'm huge Marvel fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we only have Indrajit left.
Yes. Yes.
So Indrajit, could you please turn on your video if that's not a problem?
Hey, I'm having internet connections because of heavy thunderstorm. That's why I turned off my video.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just introduce you quickly. If you
yeah.
can just switch on your video, it will be great. So Indrajit Sinha is a software developer and business analyst, a Toastmaster, author, and life transformation coach. He has conducted workshops in public speaking, writing novels, self-help books, and film scripts. So Indrajit, please go ahead and pitch.
I have to pitch for my work, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
about your work,
1
about your
minute or
book.
2
Yeah.
minute elevator
1 or 2
pitch.
minutes about it.
Right. Imagine if I ask you to board a train right now, a local train. Now, I know that this is the lockdown period, but just for a minute, go into the dream world where the lockdown is over, Corona is over, and I ask you to board a train. Will you board into the compartment which is heavily crowded or a compartment where seats are available in plenty? Of course, the answer is the second one. But sadly, when it comes to psychology or when it comes to library, every person goes into the same field where research has already been done, where people have already spoken mounds and mounds of books. There are very few hobbits in the field of psychology who dare to adventure to travel into the realms of Mordor. You see, when I was doing a master's for cognitive psychology, I realized that our education society has taught us that negative emotions are very bad. Teenagers fight against their parents because they don't understand anything. Anger is bad, lust is bad, pride is bad. But what if, just for a second, think, what if there was a shining knight hiding in that closet? What if there was something good coming out from that sandstorm? So I had to spend 2.5 years researching what are the benefits of emotions. See, emotions is like a television show. You can take the benefits out of it, or you can make the mistakes that they teach. Emotions are just tools. It's us who always make bad. And for this research, I had to delve into criminology to study how emotions actually affect us. And slowly I came to realize that these inner demons, these negative emotions that we so readily hate, which pushes people to go into depression, anxiety, and often take the quitting extreme steps, these emotions actually have real power, power that can make you invincible, power that can make you much better than any superhero or any superpower you can dream of. Let me give you an example like anger. Anger makes you invincible in the point that when you think of any decisions, the first thing that comes to your mind, hey, I'm going to try this out, but what if I fail? The moment anger, a hormone that rejects into your body, it makes your brain think that there is no what if. You can actually do it. And for that few seconds, you actually are capable of doing a lot of things. I have explained a lot of such scenarios in my book, but my book does not teach you to suppress your negative emotions. No, you cannot do that because they are natural. What you can do is channelize those emotions, the powers those emotions give towards betterment of your career, your personality, and improving your interpersonal relations. My book, How to Tame Your Inner Demons, actually teaches parents what problems teenagers undergo when they are actually growing up into adults. It helps teenagers understand how they can cope up with all the negative emotions that are starting to take birth inside their minds. It helps to people who are suffering through middle life crisis to understand how they can cope through depression and anxious, not by removing them, but by actually using them to make their careers better. I'm not saying anger is bad. In fact, I'm saying if you have anger, you are actually beneficial, you have an advantage. I love people who have anger. I love people who have pride, only if they know how to use it for the betterment of themselves and the society. If you want to know more, go through the book, How to Tame Your Inner Demons. I can guarantee you, other psychology books will tell you, you are bad, you have to suppress those emotions. What my book will say, you are good. I'll show you the way to be good. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Indrajit. That was an amazing pitch, very catchy, crisp, and everything. So, thank you so much. Although you couldn't turn your video on, but we had a nice time listening to you. So, all of you, please go check out Indrajit's book, and you can post the link in the group as well. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for this amazing pitch session. But now it's time for our next activity.
By the way, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but you're not
There's-
visible.
I know there's a problem with my network. I'm trying.
Okay. Should I proceed to the next activity?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So now it's time for a quick rapid fire round. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to ask each one of you some questions and very randomly. And let's see what answers we have, we get to these.
And
Uh,
also you can ask each other questions. If you have
yes,
a
you can
question
ask
for
each other
anybody,
questions. Yeah.
please shoot.
So let's go with you guys first. Do you have questions for anyone from the group? Any, like say Yukta wants to ask someone any question, or you can answer each other's questions also. Any questions from the group?
Yeah, what got you, excited and geared up to, write a book?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The first question comes to me. Okay. So, basically I started, writing from very young age, and I was 9 when I self-published. Like my grandmother sort of found a journal and then she published my book. But there was very, horrifying for all your relatives to read what mess you have written and everything. So yeah, so I always thought I wanted to be a writer, but then life happened and I got sidetracked into science and everything. So during this lockdown, I sort of read a lot of books and I had some free time, and I thought that no, I should take up writing again. So once that started, it was it just that it was sort of like an intoxication, and I kept on writing and writing, and then this concept came to my mind, and the characters wouldn't let me sleep. So that's how
that happens.
So they kept on pushing me, write and write. So that's how the entire novel of Linga When You Go came about.
Nice.
So that's all.
Can't wait to read it. Can't wait to read it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, next question for Niladri.
Okay, I'm just in time. I'm back.
Yeah, it's time.
Niladri, if what advice you would give to your younger self, like 18-year-old self?
My 18-year-old self. Okay. First, to not run after quantity, because at that time I was writing a lot of things. I had a thing that I had to write one song a day at that time. So first, not run after quantity, because I've realized as I've gotten older and maybe wiser, I don't know, but that quality matters more than quantity. So I've sort of gone easy with my output at this point of time. That's one. The other, to calm down a bit, not have so much of a temper. I was a live wire when I was 17, 18 as a teenager. So I sort of inadvertently got myself into situations where, at the drop of a hat, I would lose my anger or lose my temper. And I think I sort of made a few, not enemies, but I fell out of with a few people because I just got unjustifiedly angry on them for they deserve to be berated a little, but not as much as I did. So maybe that's another thing. So these are the main two things, not have so much on a writing a professional level, to ease down on the output, try to concentrate on quality, which I have now done, and not to be such a live wire all the time.
Thank you.
Okay, then anyone else has any questions? Okay, I'll go for Neeraj. Okay, could you unmute yourself? Okay,
Yes,
Neeraj.
sure.
Okay, what is a genre that a fellow author writes in from the group that you want to explore someday? You've also heard pictures, you've also been in the group for some time. So what's a genre that, someone from the group writes that you want to explore someday?
Yeah, I kind of forgot the name of the genre, but I would definitely like to explore Niladri's and Chandrayan's writing.
Okay, I think he has network issues, but yeah, he did answer. So,
yeah.
So what he means to
Can
say
you
is that,
imagine how bad my writing is? He says my name and it goes blank.
He said both of our names, brother. Don't worry.
Hey, sorry, I lost the connection for a moment there. Yeah, so I have always actually, I mean, I've been a kind of a sensitive person and have stayed away from gory stuff. But in recent times, I've realized that these things can be quite interesting to read. And I'll definitely like to plow through the disturbing aspects and look at the plotting and yeah, I mean, it sounds so interesting when these guys talk about it. So I'm definitely, I'd love to.
You know,
Because
just
most of us, sorry.
yeah, please go ahead, Yukta. Please go ahead.
No, I said because most of us do have, an evil side to ourselves. So there is that, that, okay, you know what, maybe, we can look at something like serial killer, like your concept.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is intriguing.
It's more or less what I was going to say, that I really don't believe that human beings are completely black and white. We all have grays, and I sort of believe that we all have a dark side. You know, somebody might have a dark side that's more profound, and somebody might have a dark side that's not as profound, but we all have a somewhat of a dark side, and I love to explore that, at least in my writing. I don't like really black and white stories. I mean, if I mean, uh, I like romances. It's not like I don't. I've read romances, okay, and I incorporate romance into my books, in my stories as well. I mean, romance is very important. It's an integral part of our lives. It's a part of stories, but I like to have a broader context to it. Uh, and there can be a love story, but then it has to be incorporated into in a broader context. Like, we might be in love in our lives, but it's not everything, right? There are other things that are happening in our lives as well. So I that's what I like to sort of explore in my writing. And I do have a question for Chandrayan.
Okay.
I'm not gonna leave you, brother, today.
If I may just add, I've also not read a lot of psychological thriller as well for similar reasons. But when I read Chitra's book, Chitra's was one of the few psychological thrillers that I've read. And when I read Chitra's book, I definitely want to get more into psychological thrillers because it's scary as shit, but it's interesting. I enjoyed
It
getting.
is.
He texted me at night, and he was like, "I'm not able to sleep." I was like, "Okay, I'll take it as a compliment, or should I be concerned for the poor guy?"
No, it's a job well done in that
Not
case.
to not to blow our own trumpets, but you should definitely read mine and Chandrayan's books as well.
Definitely, I look forward to it.
Yeah, you should. Okay, so Chandrayan, I have a question for you. So you just said you modeled Aditya, that's his lead character, or one
One
of
of
the
my
two protagonists, one of the two protagonists, after yourself. But did you model Radha Bose, the other protagonist, after anybody, any literary character, movie character, any person you've come across?
uh, the honest answer is I don't know, because she's just always, I've written novels before, I've just never published them. There was one I wrote, I got to the final chapter, and then I decided this is crap and I deleted it. But turns out I didn't. It was in the cloud, and when I downloaded it again and read it again, there was a character named Radha Bose. This was when I was, what, 13 or 14. So for as long as I can remember, she's just been there in my head as a character. And I just think she if I met her in real life, I'd admire her, and those are the type of characters I like to write. Because at this point, Radha and Aditya are real to me, at least. I mean, if I met them tomorrow, I wouldn't think, oh, you were only in my book. No, I would go and shake their hands because they're real. So I don't really know when it happened. Honestly, I don't. But she's just been in my head for years now.
Great. Uh, okay, so Chitra.
Yeah, I want
Next
to
question.
ask a question for, Urvashi ma'am. So
Okay.
ma'am, yeah. So ma'am, would you rather have,
I've lost you.
sorry, can you hear me?
I just got would you rather have, and I didn't hear anything after
Okay,
that.
no, I didn't say anything further. So,
Okay.
would you rather have 10 best-selling self-published novels or one moderately successful traditionally published book? Okay, in your case, children's books, but would you rather have 10 best-selling self-published books that have reached a wider audience or a traditionally published, moderately successful book?
If I am working on the basis of spreading a message, which is what was the idea behind this book, and which is what is the idea behind the novel that I am, is just doing the circuits now, I would rather the message reached across. See, for the simple reason is when I used to write for this magazine, the offer still open, I haven't been writing for them. My travelogues got a lot of audience. I would write articles on spirituality. There were plenty of readers. But the minute I would touch something conscious like maybe not using single use plastic or coffee cups, which are actually lined with plastic, they're not paper cups, and things like that, the number of
I think
audience
she's lost connection.
does not know
Yeah.
based life that makes people look for breaks from the regular stuff like holidays and stuff like that get read. The rest people do not have the time to bother. Before you pick up a bottle of phenyl or something, you're not looking at the chemical constituents, you're not bothered what you're doing. So that's when I realized that when I saw the drastic drop in readers, when it came to an I decided to target the younger audience. Because I thought the parents were just too busy. They didn't have the time. It was better to catch hold of children and make them aware. Maybe they would tell the parents the next time they throw a garbage packet somewhere saying, please, there's a dustbin, throw there or something, just to make them more conscious. So if you ask me, I will definitely say I would rather my message reached out to people.
So, and what do you think is the better way? Traditional publishing or
The
self-publishing?
more number of people read it, as far as I'm concerned, the to me.
Okay, I also
Have
have a
you been
very
able to hear me? Because I'm losing.
Yeah, it's
I also have a pretty similar question for Shalini. That if a writer, is writing their first book or they've written their first book, what would you sort of advise them? They wait and go through the grind of traditional publishing, or they just go and self-publish?
Niladri, I have a feeling you know the answer.
Well, I
so,
might know, but the others might not.
okay. So my first choice would be to go through the grind, get it traditionally published, and yeah, I would prefer that. So
And
yeah.
why is that? Because we are mostly self-published authors, and things are going pretty okay for us.
So
and
I
we are
want
getting
that
a
feeling.
larger cut of royalties as well.
Oh, okay. So I'm not very well versed in Niladri right now. I'm just 2 months old. Okay. So traditional
You're
publishing
two
has
months
always
old as a writer.
as a published writer, yeah. Self-published writer. Okay. So
He's an editor,
traditional
so
publishing
he
has
should do
always
those to you.
yeah, traditional has always fascinated me, I think. So
Yeah.
and I feel that just to have that name attached with my book,
Hmm.
I would love to see that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think we all have that, somewhere or the other in the back of our minds that, we should be published by one traditional publisher. It's sort of a certification that, okay, an editor has seen my manuscript and they've liked it and they think it's commercially viable. That word has stuck with me since the first rejection letter I got, or rather rejection email for my first book, when out of the 8 publishing houses I'd sent my manuscript to, only one was kind enough to send me a reply that had only one line, that your book is not commercially viable. And so, yeah. So I guess, yeah, we all have that, somewhere in our minds we have that, okay, chalo, let's have at least one book that's traditionally published. So at least, if for nothing, we can at least boast to our grandchildren, see, we got one book published by a traditional publisher. The rest of us were all doing it on our own. Okay, so Preeti is here finally.
Yeah, so Preeti, I'm going to, just put you in the spotlight. Just quickly introduce yourself and give a short pitch about your work. Okay, so Preeti is a history buff. She's a storyteller, an urbanist. And Preeti, please go ahead, introduce yourself, give a short pitch about your work.
Hi. So I've just driven like around 85 kilometers right now. So I might be a little incoherent because driving is not something I like. Okay, so I am a trained architect and an urban designer, and I am the mother to two teenagers. One 11-year-old actually, but she's almost a teen that way. So they are my main motivation to write a book, because I want them to read something which has a lot of Indian history in it. There is a bit of, there are some nuggets of society. And also, yes, I wanted them to read a nice, adventurous detective kind of a book, the types I have grown up with. See, I grew up with Feluda, Faster Feni, and of course, Sherlock Holmes. But today, the children don't have any such icon to look upon. So, which is why my book, this is the first book of a series of two detectives, two teenage detectives, girls. And in the first book, they have to unravel a mystery which deals with serial killings which are happening, and the person or the, what do you say, the killer might be a wronged queen, because all the killings are happening around the places the queen was attached with. So the queen's backstory is a big part of the book as well, and how these children go about unraveling it and trying to protect their family in this. That is another part of it. So I don't know whether I've made an elevator pitch. Chitra, tell me.
Yeah, you have. You definitely have.
It.
And I think
this
people
is giving
will be
a very
waiting for
Nancy
you.
Drew vibe.
Yeah.
Nancy Drew vibe. This is giving a very Nancy Drew vibe.
Oh, thank you.
Could you post the link to your book in the group?
Actually, I think she's
surely.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So Shalini has to leave. She has some prior commitments at this point of time. So thank you, Shalini, for coming and for joining us. It was great having you. And thank you for
so
asking
much.
me that very interesting question. Thank you.
I have more questions for next meet, so
I'll be waiting.
Okay, I have a question for Niladri now. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Right. So your poetry compilation, Songs of Dusk, I think was the name.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in class, last bench, so no one can see me, and sir or ma'am is droning on ahead, and I'm just with my head down, I'm reading your poems because they were that effective. I gave them 5 stars. If there were 6 possible, I would have given 6. My question is, are you writing another one? And if yes, when's it going to be released? And can I have an advance copy and all that? And if you're not, why the hell aren't
you? To be very honest, poems are something that I keep on writing. They're sort of a bit like catharsis to me. I mean, I have a bad day, I write a poem. I have a good day, I write a poem. Okay, just it may not necessarily be in English. I've written a lot in Hindi. So I do have a plan of coming out with a poetry collection again. But this time I'm thinking of, because I have loads of Hindi poems. And so I'm thinking of bringing out a Hindi poem collection. But here's the thing, I don't know how to read and write Hindi. I studied in a missionary school, and so I would write them in English in Roman script, and I would have somebody translate them, and I would have both a Hindi and an English version of the same poem in 2 different pages of the same book. So that is something I am working on my side, and maybe another English poem book would come next year.
You are a man of many talents.
Thank you.
Work faster.
There's a lot on my plate, brother. So it's just got, I started writing a novel as well.
I have a solution to this problem actually. Sometimes when you write poems and you think they're really good, why don't you send some to Chandrayan?
Yeah,
can?
I can surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also kind of have an idea of what kind of poems he would like, so I would make sure that those are the kind of poems that I send him. Okay.
I
I'll
have
be looking forward to them.
Yeah, I have a question for Chandrayan. You said that I am audible, right?
Yes, you are. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, you said that you've designed all your covers in a minimalistic fashion. I just wanted to know how was the audience reaction on that? Because as we all know, the book is the primary selling point of the cover is the primary selling point for every book. So I just wanted to get an idea as to how minimalistic covers are doing for you.
Okay, so the covers I had before them, I didn't know how to design them, design covers really, but so I gave them my best shot, but they weren't good, and they weren't received very well. And so when I designed my covers using software called Canva. So when I got a better understanding of Canva, I went about redesigning the covers, and at that time I thought, keep look, covers are a pivotal part of the book success, but you can't have a cover that doesn't reflect the tone of the book, because that would just be inauthentic. That would sell the reader on a false idea. So uh, I just went about an all black, just big bold letters and just a few lines, because that really is how the characters are inside, the main characters. And when I put up a poll on Instagram stories, which I didn't know you could do. I was that inexperienced back then, but I found out you could do that, and so I did that, and the response was, well, nothing's ever completely positive, but 80% positive, 20%, 80 to 20 ratio was positive. So in that regard, people said that the covers were an improvement and they are more tonally consistent with the story. So it worked out for the best.
You know, I have a question for Chetan. Chetan has gone dark again. Chetan, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Actually, there was a background noise and I had to change my place, but I'll be starting my video.
Okay,
Please
so
go
I'll
ahead.
come to you once you start your video. Before that, I would like to say something. Nobody asked me one question, and that is if I want to write in a genre of somebody else from the group, because I was dying to say that, but nobody asked. So I'll just ask the question to myself and I'll answer it. And that would be the genre in which Preeti has written her book. Because one major point why me and Preeti connected so well is that we are both history geeks. And what she has done basically is that she has taken a very obscure part of history and she has sort of amalgamated that into an investigative thriller. And I would really like to write something like that, something that takes a part of history, has uh, splices of thriller and mystery around it, and tell a very fast story with a lot of character drama. That's basically what Preeti's book is. She has taken three, four stuff and put it all together in one very cohesive narrative. So that's something I would really strive to do one day. I still don't think I am that equipped enough as a writer, but one day I hope to be.
You already are, shut up.
Okay, a quick question to Jackson. Could you so very quickly tell us that how did you come by Tagore's writings, and why were you inspired by all these Indian writers? I mean, a lot of Asian writers. Your entire post graduation is in English. So, did you come by these from an early age, or when you were doing your graduation and post graduation? The exposure towards the
Uh,
English language and particularly towards Indian writers.
uh, I would say because my one of my favorite poems is Tagore, and I really want to write some books that maybe I can try to inspire more people to overcome the fear of the COVID-19, especially in these situations. And I also understand that the potential, I mean, the readers' potentials and the audience in India is huge compared to my countries. So I decided that I discussed with my professor, say, he told me that if one day I want to become an author, that maybe I can try to point out or try to target my readers in India and try to inspire more India peoples about poems, because I understand that in India, many people appreciate poetry or songs based on their histories and their cultures. And we also have the culture research centers at my department. So I can sometimes my professor will tell us some different cultures in around the whole world. I mean, in the Asia Pacific.
Great. Okay, so I
great.
had a.
Thank you, Jackson, for this lovely answer.
Okay, so I had a question for Chetan. So when you
Yes.
conceptualized your book, did you sort of draw any inspiration from your real life or from what you saw around you in your profession, or was it something just you just imagined and then sort of you moved into completely a imaginative fictional narrative?
So thank you for the question. And first of all, it's not a complete inspiration from my personal life, but there is a slight inspiration because there are certain incidents with the people around me and with me, which inspired me to take certain topics in that. But actually, it came out automatically when I started writing it. My original intention was something else, but then I thought, okay, I can also pitch my story along these certain ideas. And one most important thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to write something which people can relate easily to it. And another intention was that I always wanted to give some message through my story, not only the entertainment aspect of it, but some message. So that is why I have tried to target certain challenges that I have seen with my little experience. And yeah, so that's how it has gone.
Great. Okay, so before we wrap up, there is one question that would go to everybody. Okay, so that one question, the last question that we have, is that uh, which author's book from the group, from our TCC group, would be next on your TBR to be read list?
I think
Because we have
Harish and
heard.
Indrajit haven't responded yet. So, can you hear us, Indrajit
Oh yeah,
and Harish?
they haven't.
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so Indrajit, would you like to answer Niladri's question?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, there are some network
Yeah, so
problems.
which author's book from the group would be next on your TBR?
Because you have all heard the pitches that everybody has given. So which author's book would be like the next one that you would like to read?
I would like to read your book, Chitra.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Indrajit?
I don't remember which book was written by which one because I joined late, so I might have missed some of the pictures. But I would prefer to go for the one with the history, the one which mentioned that it was written, going to talk about Indian history, and the one where the dark side topic was about to be spoken. So I would like to go read those two books specifically.
Chandrayan and Preeti.
I see. But I would prefer to go through all the books because I feel every writer has their own taste and something to provide which can help us improve our experience.
Great. Urvashi ma'am?
After listening to Neeraj, I think I would be really interested in reading Chitra's book. If she's managed to convert a hardcore sensitive guide to switch to thrillers, I'm really curious. So yeah, I think I would like to read that. That's a genre I don't normally go to. My used to be Agatha Christie's, and that was it. But yeah, I'd like to read that.
Preeti?
She's already put it in the chat. I think she's written Chandrayan's book series.
Okay, Chandrayan's book. You're in
You
demand,
got
brother
so
Chandrayan.
many fans.
And Yukta,
That's
what about you?
serendipitous because, sorry, you were speaking.
Yeah, please.
No, that's serendipitous because I would love to read Preeti's. Are we on first name basis? Can I say Preeti? Just Preeti. Um, Preeti ma'am? Yes, better.
That's okay, I
I'd,
think.
I'd
It
love.
is enough.
I'd love to read Preeti's book next, and I have yours as well downloaded already on Kindle, and I'm planning on getting around to it this month itself. So 2, not 1, just
Thank
1.
you. Yukta, what about
Okay.
you?
So like I mentioned earlier, Chitra has created so much curiosity with her, pitch and everything. So Chitra's book definitely, and I would want to gift my nephew, Miss Urvashi ma'am's book too.
Oh,
So
nice.
Great. What about you,
So,
Neeraj?
and Niladri's and Chandrayan's pitch was, equally captivating. So yes.
Thank you.
Yukta, just one question for you. Like you write in the romance genre, and like as Niladri answered that question, no one answered me any question. So yeah,
No, that's
so
fine.
yeah, so genre that I would want to explore is romance. And seeing Yukta, I'm kind of inspired because she's writing all these lovely romances, and I'm reminded of my Mills and Moods days. So
It's
coming
almost
from a
on those
writer
lines.
who's
Yeah.
into
So that's what I've
psychological
heard. Yeah.
thrillers, I want to hide my face like this. But yeah, there was a time when I came across a Wilson Boons in my mom's shelf, and I couldn't resist picking it up, and I dare say I quite enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I still enjoy, fluffy romances and intense ones. So yeah, Yukta's book is something that I would really enjoy, I guess. So,
Thank you.
what do you draw inspiration from? Like, did you also read Wilson Bones in your teenage years, or maybe Nora Roberts, something like that? So
you
which books?
you named the romance author, and I would have definitely read her book. Mostly, yeah. So yeah, I have been reading since a very young age. So I have read books across various genres. So it's not only, but romance has definitely been my favorite genre. So yeah, so I'm more inclined towards writing, and I also like suspense, thriller, fast-paced books. So yes.
Neeraj, what about you?
Well, I definitely hands down first start with Chandrayan because I loved the characters and everything that he's said about the book shows that he's been extremely I mean he's thought in extreme depth about the characters, and I'd love to know how these characters develop through the 3 books. And obviously Indrajit's book, he's the one who's written about the anger one, right? Yeah. So I have dealt with anger issues for a very long time, and I've been always put down because of it. I still have a lot of guilt and self-loathing because of those situations. So yeah, I'll love to read Indrajit's book as well.
But it's funny, because Neeraj, you come across as a very affable person. So, but I know what you mean. I've been there as well. So yeah, that's why I was also going to say Indrajit's book. So
I
you
was
just
very
spoke my
tempted
mind.
to ask Niladri if it had made any difference over the years, because my current read is this.
Oh my god.
Burn anger before anger burns you. So
I would look it up. I would look
That's
it
a nice title, yeah.
Yeah, right. What about you, Pushan? You've been coming and going all this while. So please
I
speak.
know what book he will enjoy. He will enjoy Harish's book because it's full of superheroes. Pushan is a full fantasy geek. Okay, so he's also
As
part
well
of
as a horror geek.
horror, yeah, horror and fantasy. So, what would be your pick?
I actually tried your book, Chitra. I haven't actually liked the premise of it very much. And as I actually left early because of my mobile, I didn't hear anybody else speak. But by the talk of it, I think I'd like Chandrayan's book. his speech in the Telegram group was something I loved, especially his first one, not the second one, the first one, the Inferno Flames and Airplane.
Oh God.
I loved that.
Right.
So
Right.
I actually be interested in checking his books out.
And also, it's high time, brother, that you do read Chitra's book.
Yes.
Great. And Chetan, which book
I
would you
would
like to read?
like to read Indrajit's book first, and then followed by. It's not an order actually. I would like to read everyone's books, but I think it is not good to say that I would be able to read. But yes, I think Chitra's book, and then I have not read a lot of poetry, so I would check out your book. And of course, Chandrayaan is quite famous, it looks like, so I will check out his book as well and see which of the books I can try.
Yeah, you got that. You hit the nail on the head because Chandrayan is the hero of the evening today. So, okay, so
Really not.
so I think only Jackson is
Yeah.
left. Jackson, what about you?
I may choose to read how to say Miss Tandon's books because his children's books. One of my research insert is children's literature. So I'm curious about children's book. So maybe I will try to read her books first.
Great.
Even
So,
I have a
yeah.
niece, and her name is Dolphin, and she's she's a very naughty child, but very intelligent, and from a very young age, I mean, she would give us lessons. In fact, so if something is dirty, she'd be like, "Please clean it. You should clean that." So for children like her, I think they would love Urvashi Mam's book. So I think I'll be getting a copy for her too. And
Okay,
yeah,
guys.
Kaustav just,
Yeah,
I think he has written that he would like to read
Chang's book.
Jackson's book. So just, Kaustav, could you unmute yourself? I think he's frozen. Okay,
Kaustav,
never
are you
mind.
there?
I think he has lost connection, but yeah, Jackson,
Yeah.
Kaustav would like to read your book. So
Yeah.
I
So
am
Chitra,
reading your book, in fact.
so Chitra, maybe after all the heavy duty reading of, Chandrayaan and Niladri, we can, take a breather and read Jackson's book,
Yeah,
because it's all about nature and everything. So it's definitely going to calm us down after, the whole pent up reading with their books.
yeah, I think
The important thing here is I think all of us would like to read all of our books, but the
we
names
actually
we
should.
added
And
is just a
me
preferred
and
order.
Preeti are super fast readers. So we like gulp down books like anything. So
Me
Preeti
too.
gave me my first ever review. So she picked the morning of the release, she downloaded it. By afternoon, she was done and she had posted a review. I was like, oh God. And
It
I
was
mean,
the
I was so glad to have
it was the
found
same
a
thing
reader who's
with
as fast as me.
it is the same thing with me as well. I mean, in regards to Preeti, I mean, the day my book released, she messaged me at night that I downloaded your book. I just started it. The next morning, she said I finished it, and it's a 221-page book. And I'm like, okay, that's something. And then one other day, I was having just a conversation over the phone with her, and I was just talking about my book, Beyond the Grey Line, which was just a short story collection. And by the time we were sort of through with the conversation, she had already downloaded the book and she was already on the second or third story. So she's an incredibly fast reader, and I used to be a pretty fast reader, but now with my editing and with all the TCC work, I have really slowed down.
You still
So
can't beat us. Bye bye.
I'm not even competing with you guys.
Oh, on my good days, I can read like 3, 4 a day. So
Yeah,
that's
I
how
know
I
that.
read
I
like
know that quite too
250
well.
during the lockdown.
Okay, guys, it was great having. It was a great session. I think I can speak on everyone's behalf that we all enjoyed it. I personally did. And the group is up. There'll be more people coming in the group on Monday again, and then again the next week, and again the weeks following that. And the one thing that me and Chitra would really like to request all of you is that to make the group a bit more lively, to have more conversations, more discussions, be a little more active. It's not mandatory to be active to be in the group, but I think we all would like it if we have, more discussions in the group. And I think that would be appreciated. So thank you very much for coming, for pitching your books, for answering questions, for engaging in banter. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have more sessions like this in the future. Right, Chitra?
Yeah, sure. And this was the first edition, and I think it was a grand success. We'll be having a polling in the group to know who had the best book pitch. Okay, I'll be giving out the polling, so all of you can vote for that.
And me and Chitra are gonna pull ourselves out of that poll, so we are not there. Okay, it's just the rest of you guys. So please poll on that, and there would be one winner, and there will be a surprise for that winner.
And for the top performer in the interactions as well.
Chitra.
Yeah.
Yeah, Preeti.
Listen. I missed all the pitches except mine. So if maybe one or two could be redone. This Chandrayaan's book is something which is on my TBR list, and I am going to be downloading the first one of his series tonight. That was already planned in the morning. So that's why I said Chandrayaan's book. Otherwise, I have missed all the pitches. So it would be really nice if you could just give me one small one.
Yeah, same for me.
Who's pitch?
I missed most of you guys.
Who's ready to
pitch again?
Give another pitch?
The session is recorded, I think. So
yeah, the session
is recorded, but we're gonna launch the session, upload the session on YouTube, not immediately, but a little later. Because we're still waiting for the website to come up, and the good thing is the website is gonna come up in a few days' time. We're almost through it. So we're just gonna put that. So if anybody wants to pitch again, please go ahead for Preeti's sake and Pushan's sake.
Chandrayan, maybe you can pitch because you are the man of the hour, I guess.
Exactly. Most people wanted to read your book.
No, Baba, all my energy has
you
been
can imagine.
He's exhausted today. Like literally.
Chandrayan, you can imagine that it's not a complete elevator pitch, but you're just going to go up on one floor. Okay.
Okay.
And give a very quick pitch.
I missed I mean, I'm not going to speak again. Koi energy nahi hai, but I'm going to. There are a few things I missed. One is all 3 books are available on Amazon and Flipkart. They're free on Kindle Unlimited, and they're for ₹49 a piece on Kindle, because I wanted to price it as low as possible, because readership first, profit secondary. And same for the paperbacks. They're all priced at the lowest I could, because there's an absolute low point below which I can't go.
Yeah.
So and all 3, what else was I going to say? The combined rating for all 3 on Goodreads, I have 135 or 140, I think, ratings on Goodreads, and it's around 4.12, 4.13. Not that I obsessively check it every day, because I wouldn't. I completely do, but I wouldn't. And it's not above 4.15, but it's round about there. So these are a few things I missed. Oh, and if anyone messages me privately, I can give you a coupon code that you can redeem to get 30% off on the paperback edition from the publisher Notion Press, their own website. So not on Amazon, that's not possible, unfortunately, but from Notion Press's own website.
Great.
I think, Preeti, it's not possible for everyone to pitch again.
Yeah.
So just quickly, Neeraj has a story in the Chandrayaan anthology. Okay. And I think, you should really read all the stories in the Chandrayaan anthology, but particularly Neeraj, because I think it's titled The Happy Tears. Yeah. So people have appreciated it a lot. So it's about a child, and it's about innocence. And I think you'll enjoy reading it. And then Yukhtha, she writes romance, and her first book is Handcuffed to Love, and the second book is also coming out, which is a standalone, but then also kind of a sequel.
And
So-
Urvashi ma'am has written a children's book, which is not a usual children's book, if I can say that. it's sort of her take on how children's books should be, and I think I completely agree with her take that it should not have a sort of moral, push down your throat at the end of every story, but the moral interwoven in the story itself. And Jackson has got his poetry books. I think he has got 7 of them, and which was
7 of
kind
them.
enough to I think he did put
Give the
5 of them in
PDFs,
the
yeah.
PDFs in the group as well, so you can download them and read.
You also missed out on Shalini. She had to
Yeah.
leave, but she's written this book, If I Hadn't Met You. So it's a mixture of
And,
mystery, romance, supernatural. So it's also trending on the Amazon list. So you can also check
And
that out.
Harish is into superheroes, so he writes a lot of superhero and action stuff, like very marvelous
Marvel
stuff.
universe, yeah, but more into real life meets Marvel and superheroes, Batman. I can't wait to read.
You have read Chitra's book, and you have read at least 2 of my books, I think. But I also have a poetry collection that was brought up by Chandrayan, so you can go and check that out as
And
well.
if you're looking for something
if not
really
this year, then you can
relatable,
go for next year. No problem.
yeah, and if you're looking for something really relatable, you can check out Chetan's book. So
Yeah.
I think we all will be posting our links in the group as well. So yeah, so that is a summary of today's evening. Thank you all for joining in. It was a
It was
great
great. I
experience.
really appreciate it. It was really great, and we look forward to more events like this in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
So
Bye-bye.
much.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
night. Stay
so
safe,
much. It was
everyone.
Happy
wonderful.
Thank you so
weekend.
much.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Good night.